World War III update. China's booming economy is why Babylon is bombing Iran. Death of Petrodollar. Now, I don't want this to be a long lesson, but I'm gonna get to it. I got about 3 precepts to bring out. Now, I'm gonna play at least 3 minutes of this video, but it's very important that you hear what's being said because pretty much the dollar's dying off, and China's economy is booming, and more people are flocking to them. But that doesn't mean that they're going to be the next superpower or country ruling the earth. This is just a part of the Lord's prophecies coming to pass. But before I proceed, I want to give all the honor, glory, and praises to the Most High Yahawah and His only begotten Son YAHAWASHI, whom the word ignorantly called Jesus, because the letter J in the English alphabet did not exist 2,000 years ago. Double honors to my elders at Great MILESTONE, taught me the truth through the Spirit. Single honors to the elect, peace and blessings to the 1/3, and to the confusion of faces in the four corners of the earth. Habakkuk chapter 2 verse 4-6. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith. Forgive me, y'all, if I don't sound so enthused. I literally just did this video, but the internal audio did not play from the video, so I'm doing this over again. But once again, like the scripture say, we endure our things for the elect's sake. So I'm just trying to get through this with y'all. And I did a 10-hour shift, so I ain't got no sleep or nothing. Yeah, I'm just trying to get through this for y'all.
1800s bullshit. So like that shouldn't even be a thing anymore.
But I wanted to. I think Matthew Ho posted this. I wanted to show how little China needs the U.S. anymore. This is another reason Trump walked away from this meeting with absolutely nothing. Here's a map showing showing China trade around the world, and the top map is 2025. The bottom map is 2001. For those of you listening to the podcast, it's China or the U.S. Who is your top trade partner? Well, in 2001, all except for China and a couple of countries, about 5 countries, the answer was the U.S. or something else. Or
30
USA
economies traded more with China than with the U.S. In 2001.
Only 30. Yeah,
only
so
30.
A small number. Now it's 145
traded.
So let that sink in. This goes back to Habakkuk chapter 2 verse 5. Yea, also because he transgresseth by wine. What is that wine? That wine is Esau's philosophy. All right, his foreign policies and things like that. Okay. He's like a madman. Even the scripture said they are drunken but not with wine. People also use the word drunk as a formality of people who are drunken with power. Right? Also, they say that someone has punch drunk love. Like they've been smacked by love, smitten by love. They just look like they just dazed out. Like somebody who's been punch drunk, a boxer. He is a proud man, neither keepeth at home. America has the most military bases in the world outside of America. I think China only has like 1 or 2 outside of China. And I think Russia has like 4. America had like 170 something. They go back. They connect with Job 9:24. He's a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire is hell. Everywhere this man goes, man, leaves death and destruction. Look at Afghanistan, look at Pakistan, look at Iraq, look at Libya, look at Egypt, look at Sudan. Shit. Look at Yemen. Ever since this war on terror, 6 million people have perished or been misplaced? Like, come on. And is as death. Well, Esau's blessing was the sword, right? And cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations. Going back to like the Henry Kissinger, going to Saudi Arabia, saying in the OPEC country, if you want to sell your oil, you got to use our dollar. That was been for 50 years they had to do that. That's getting pimped, bamboozled, and everything. They never renewed that contract, and that's why Trump running crazy. All right, it's all about the money, and Trump said he can care less about y'all. All right, he like a bee to honey. All right, and I keep reading. And cannot be satisfied, but gather unto him all nations and heapeth unto him all people. America is the only country in the world where you can find every race damn near, unless you're like from some tribe in the Amazon that don't even talk to people, that don't even own cell phones, don't even know who the fuck Kyrie Irving is and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? These people don't know nothing outside of where they live at, and they'll eat you alive. They're cannibals too. You know. So let's get back to it.
Most of the world, with the exception of Canada and Mexico, trade more.
They're tied into NAFTA
because they're stuck in it. Yeah. Trade more with China. The U.S. has lost control of the like market share around the world, and China doesn't need the U.S. anymore.
No.
The U.S. is
China doesn't need the U.S. anymore. Moab doesn't need the U.S. anymore, and that's why I'm gonna bring out this precept, Psalm 60:8. Moab, biblically, we know the Chinese will be biblically known as Moabites. All right, it's my washpot. Use the washpot to clean up shit. Well, Esau's a fucking mess. The Lord's using them to clean him up. Remember, the scripture says, the Lord ruleth in the kingdom of men. So Xi Jinping and Putin and all the other Kim Jong-un, the Lord's controlling them. The Lord ruleth in the kingdom of men. And Exodus 15:3 also says the Lord is a man of war. So World War III is inevitable. Because in Revelation, the 3rd chapter, it says 2 woes have passed, and yea, the 3rd woe cometh quickly. People, I would say in almost in a little over the span of a century, which is 100 years, America has been involved in all 3 world wars. Okay, so let's get back to it. Strange.
only
This one looks
14% of Chinese exports. Like,
And
it's not.
And
a
I
big
just like to
factor.
highlight, look at the poor little Europeans that have tied themselves to the U.S. empire and are so fucked because of it.
There's a couple little blue ones and little equal ones in there.
Yeah, that
What's
are
with
like,
that?
oh shit.
Are actually slightly.
And that reminds me of when they had the Grexit and the Brexit. All right, those are 2 countries that left out of the EU or the NATO, because every country in the EU is a part of NATO, but every country in NATO is not a part of the EU, because EU is an acronym for European Union. So you have to be a country within the continent of Europe to be a part of that. You know, going back to that Luxembourg, Germany, Italy, England, Scotland, Spain, you know, things of that nature, right? Hit me out real quick. This is getting a lot of hand here. My phone is acting like it's possessed right now. It doesn't want to obey me. Okay then. Alright, so I'm gonna play the last portion of this video. I was supposed to play this first, but like I said, my mind's everywhere. And this is pretty much gonna go into why they're over there bombing Iran and whatnot. Alright, let me get right to it. I'm gonna close out.
Here also resolving the standoff in the Strait of Hormuz. So this again is, to me, the biggest propaganda of this New York Times piece is just how it's surface level bullshit for the most part. It's not that these things weren't on the docket, but the major reason that the U.S. is at war in Iran right now is to try and protect the petrodollar and cut off the main energy source of China. Well, one of many energy sources, but of the other countries outside of China that are supplying energy to China, Iran and Russia are really at the top of that list. So it's one of the biggest reasons that the U.S. is blowing people up in Iran is to try and cut off this energy to China. Mm-hmm. And so this idea that, like, we're going to just try and talk about how we want to make sure everybody has access to the Strait of Hormuz. Well, you're not really.
So once again, why are they over there? They want to try and cut the energy sources to Russia and China. And they also trying to preserve the petrodollar. But I'm going to close out with this. Jeremiah 51, 8-9. Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. That is soon to come. Right now it's already morally and spiritually destroyed, trust me. But right now it's being financially destroyed and it's going to be physically destroyed. Howl for her, take blame for her pain. If so be she may be healed. We will have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her and let us go everyone into his own country. Why would it say that? Because something bad's going to happen. What happened when Russia invaded Ukraine? They told all the diplomats, get your ass home, because we may drop a bomb over there, and if you're there, it's going to fall on you. Yes, we're living in that time right now. That has happened. These scriptures are living. They're alive. They're kicking too. Right? For her judgment reacheth unto heaven and is lifted up even to the sky, which goes back to, what's that, Revelation 18:2, when the Lord said, come out of her, my people. Be not partakers of her sins, for her sins have reached up to heaven. And it said the Lord shall pay her back double. So in other words, you don't want to be caught here when the judgment comes. You want to be beamed up. Which now all of a sudden they're having all these articles and news stories about UFOs. No, they're called chariots of God. Get it right. But anyhow, with that being said, I truly pray y'all was edifying, fed, stay in the spirit, don't fear it, just endure it. Ask for forgiveness, pray without ceasing, stay humble, remain diligent. Mashallah, Shalom.